up, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the scales made famous by a lot of jazz rock fusion guys, especially more guitar-oriented jazz rock fusion guys, especially the ones you tend to see on YouTube. Like a lot of these backing tracks you find out there. They're all based on the Dorian mode. Now, the Dorian mode actually begins or has an intervallic construction of 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and flat 7. But before I keep going with the lesson, you can actually find the backing track that I'm using right at the beginning performance over at my Patreon account, which you can find the link right down there. Not only can you find the backing tracks, but you'll also find the different scale diagrams pertaining to the different modes or scales that I'm talking about on my videos. And you'll also find the different tabs and notation for some of the different licks that I show you guys on my, on my different videos. Now, coming back to the lesson, like I said, it has a construction of 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and flat 7. But this is going to mean that you can actually find out what chords you can actually play this scale over just by stacking the scale in thirds. So if we begin, you can find 1, flat 3, 5. Already you have a minor chord. Then you can stack them up in 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Right now you have a minor 7 chord. Keep stacking them up, you get a minor 9, then a minor 11, and then a minor 13. So you can play the Dorian scale over any of these types of chords. Now, I like to show you guys 3 different ways of applying and learning about the different modes. So the first one is going to be, just like I said at the beginning, just using the intervallic construction. So for this, you're going to need to visualize the different intervals on the instrument. So it's important for you to, when you're practicing your scales, especially your major or minor type scales, to be visualizing each of the different notes that you're playing. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the case of the major scale. Then once you have that, you can start altering it and applying the different formulas over that. So you get 1, 2, flat 3, so you lower that third, 4, 5, natural 6, which is what makes Dorian so special, is that characteristic note, and then flat 7. And already there you have the full on scale. This is probably the way that I tend to recommend the most because you can start looking at different notes. You can actually begin to construct different chords on the instrument. It's going to be a lot easier to apply these different formulas than just learning a whole bunch of patterns. You can just learn one formula and apply it in a ton of different ways versus learning technically thousands of patterns. It's going to be way easier in this fashion. The other reason I actually recommend this is because when you're improvising, you can aim at certain notes within the scale. So if you want to land on a chord tone like a flat 3 or a flat 7 in the case of Dorian, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to find those notes. If you want to land on a cool extension like a 9th or an 11th, again, you're going to be able to just land those without really thinking about it too much, just because you know exactly where they are. Now, the next way I'm going to recommend that you can look at these, and this is probably one of the fastest way you can start playing the modes if you've never really played them before, if you don't know how to apply the different intervals, is by connecting it or relating it to the parent scale. In the case of Dorian, it's very easy. Like at the beginning backing track, we have an A minor chord or an A minor Dorian or an A Dorian type progression. All you're going to do from that minor chord is go down a whole step and play the major scale from there. So like I said, A minor, go down a whole step, it's going to be G major. So technically you're playing the G major scale or the notes from G major over an A minor chord or A Dorian progression. Now, this is a really cool and easy way to start looking at the modes at the beginning, but like I always tend to recommend, you should graduate from thinking in this way into the more intervallic way, just because of the different reasons that I already gave you guys. The last way I'm going to show you is by looking at the different scale diagrams. This is probably the way I tend to recommend the least, unless you already know the theory behind the different modes and how they work and where to find the different notes. The only reason for looking at it in scale diagrams is to grab some muscle memory. So if you want to have some different licks or some different moves that you want to gain, or just different ways of looking at the scale, then scale diagrams are really cool because they're kind of symmetrical and it's going to be easier in terms of the digitation of your fingers. But if you don't know the theory, you'll probably end up just learning the scale and not really knowing how to apply it. So it's important to know the theory and the intervallic construction and how to construct different chords from the actual construction of the scale. Alright, so that's it for this video. Remember, you can follow me on any type of social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm now on Patreon, and like I said before, if you go to my Patreon account, you'll find all sorts of different backing tracks, scale diagrams, licks, and tabs, and all sorts of really cool goodies. I want to do a quick shout out to my patrons, Raul Tise, Tom Burns, and James Swartz, for helping make this video happen through their contributions on Patreon. If you want to check out any of my products, you can go to my website and check out my book, The Art of Scale Weaving, and the 2 different box sets that I did with the guys from Guitar Tutorials. And finally, if you're interested in lessons, again, you can go through my website, juanantoniomusic.com, and you can find all sorts of lesson packs that you can sign up for right there. All right, thanks for watching.